Now at 5 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, in Dallas, a child has been fatally shot. Now authorities are investigating how the shooting happened. And Israel has been accused of genocide for their actions in Gaza. We hear their allegations from South Africa as they present a case in the International Court of Justice. And new video shows the moment a historic hotel exploded in downtown Fort Worth. Now another problem is leaving business owners worried.
Well, we've got a lot of weather heading in our direction. First of all, this frontal system tomorrow is going to give us a very windy day. We're talking winds in excess of 35, maybe 40 miles an hour. And then the big chill is definitely coming. By Monday, you'll be looking for the heavy winter coat. We'll talk about that coming up in just a moment.
Plus, we continue diving into the mayoral candidates' personalities and characters beyond their policy platforms as we introduce another candidate. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Karina Garcia. Victoria County Sheriff's deputies traveled to a state jail facility in Bexar County to take custody of 46-year-old Mark Fernandez Jr. He was transported to the Victoria County Jail on a charge of aggravated sexual assault of a child. He is charged with numerous other sexual offenses against children under the age of 14. He remains in custody without bond. And also in Victoria, DPS took 25-year-old Mark Aguiano of Port Lavaca into custody Wednesday. In Cameron County, Aguiano faces charges of injury to a child, a probation violation, and engaging in organized criminal activity. Both were Victoria County warrants. Aguiano is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of a $40,000 bond. And 22-year-old Isaac Lopez of El Campo pleaded guilty to aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury. The El Campo Leader News reports Lopez fired shots into a home in El Campo during a child's birthday party on November 22nd of 2022. Two people were hit by gunfire. Lopez was given a 5-year prison sentence. The Hallettsville Police Department is asking the public for any information on the whereabouts of Bradley K. Pajowski. Family says he left his house on January 9th to go to the hospital but never returned. He was last seen driving his gray Ford F-150. If anyone has information or has seen Bradley, please call the Lavaca County Sheriff's Office at 361-798-2121. A 6-year-old girl was shot and killed at a home in Dallas Wednesday. It happened just before 3 p.m. Police say the girl was with several other children when a gun went off. Investigators are not sure how the child was shot, but she was taken to a hospital and there was nothing emergency workers could do. The investigation into the shooting is currently underway. AEP Texas says it's preparing for an approaching cold snap. The storm is predicted to affect all districts in the AEP Texas service territory. AEP Texas says its crews are taking steps to prepare for freezing temperatures and possible scattered outages. All AEP Texas districts are on alert. All crews are on standby and prepared to respond. AEP Texas advises that any downed power lines should be considered live and dangerous. Now, updated information on 2 warming centers opening in Victoria Sunday. The warming center at First United Methodist Church, located at 407 North Bridge Street, will open at 2 p.m. Sunday. It will close at 8 a.m. Wednesday, the church is collecting donations of bottled water, individually packaged snacks, light throw blankets, or socks. And the Salvation Army of Victoria headquarters, located at 1302 North Lewis Street, opens as a warming center anytime the temperature drops below 35 degrees or below 30 degrees in wind chill. The emergency center, or rather shelter, will be open from 4:30 p.m. to 7 a.m. When the church center closes Wednesday, they will go to the Salvation Army. And with that, let's go and take a look at your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis, who knows all about this winter blast coming our way.
We've been talking about it for about 7 days now, and so now is the time to get ready for the cold blast. Now, first of all, we have 2 fronts coming in. One is the windy one, and the second one is the Arctic chill. But I've showed the low temperatures for the next 5 days. So tomorrow morning we'll be at 40. On Saturday morning we'll be at 45. Sunday morning we'll be at 40. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're going to be dropping down into the 20s. So it's going to be a hard freeze, and we need to get ready for that. We'll do all the details and talk about the possible ice around here. All that coming up in just a moment.
Mac, thank you. South Africa is accusing Israel of genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. Today, they are outlining the case at the International Court of Justice. In the opening remarks, South Africa's ambassador to the Netherlands said Israel's alleged genocidal acts in Gaza are, quote, inevitably form part of a continuum of illegal acts perpetrating against the Palestinian people since 1948.
South Africa acknowledges that the genocidal acts and omissions by the State of Israel inevitably form part of a continuum of illegal acts perpetrated against the Palestinian people since 1948. The application places Israel's genocidal acts and omissions within the broader context of Israel's 75-year apartheid, 56-year occupation, and 16-year siege imposed on the Gaza Strip.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is calling this a false accusation. South Africa has asked the World Court to protect the rights of Palestinians in Gaza and has ordered Israel to suspend its military campaign in the small territory. But the process is complex, and experts say a final ruling could take years. Video from a bookstore across the street from the Sandman Signature Hotel in downtown Fort Worth shows the moment the explosion happened, leaving 21 people hurt. The blast force had been so strong it knocked doors off of hinges and toppled railings and cracked walls. On the scene of the blast is a gas station. The Texas Railroad Commission and the NTSB crews were testing gas lines as part of the investigation. The owners of neighboring businesses hope to reopen soon and for gas services to be restored so they can keep their places warm during the next week's cold snap. The cause of the blast has not been determined. We recently had all of the mayoral candidates live on 25 News Now at 5 to hear their various platforms. Now we're giving you a chance to learn more about their personalities and characters beyond their policies. We asked all of the mayoral candidates the same 4 questions. Our first question was for them to show us an important item in their home or office. Number 2, talk to me about your dream job when you were a child. Number 3, if elected mayor, what is your greatest fear? And finally, what is your favorite quote and why?
My favorite quote is Abraham Lincoln. As you can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all the people all the time. You know, that's in real life today. I mean, we hope that we can please, you know, everybody. I don't think it'll ever happen. Be a peace officer, and I went ahead and I fulfilled that dream. I found out it didn't make much money, so I went on to the private sector. And about 18 years ago, I got into the limousine industry, and I have been in this industry ever since. My biggest fear is that I won't be able to accomplish what I want to accomplish. If I got mayor, I hope that we would all be able to work together for the common interests of the people. It's never about us. It never will be about me. It will be always about the people of this community. My children and grandchildren is that I'm very proud of all of them. The love that you get from your grandkids, it's like being a parent all back over again. That is just the light of my life.
Also on the ballot, Josephine Solis, Jacob Salceda, Peter Brown, Carissa Winters, and Dwayne Crocker. Early voting starts January 17th and runs through January 30th. Join us Saturday, February 3rd for complete coverage of the special mayoral election. Now, the Texas Tribune has an article where voters in 50 of the state's largest county will 3 new members of their property appraisal district boards will be added. However, critics have raised concerns about this potentially adding election costs and overall changing what was previously considered a non-political system. So here is your Veer poll this afternoon. You can scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, are you concerned with the potential impact of changes on property values and taxes? Yes or no? We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 6. A South Texas regional job fair was held today in Cuero. The job fair was at the Cuero Municipal Park Clubhouse, 201 Leonard Roy Harmon Drive. It was co-sponsored by Yoakum, Cuero, and Hallettsville. The South Texas job fair is an opportunity for job seekers to find their next career move and for businesses to recruit the region's top talent. Job seekers can meet face-to-face with local employers, explore job opportunities, and grow their network and make valuable connections, all for free. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. Closing arguments have begun in the conclusion of former President Donald Trump's civil fraud trial. That's straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. Also ahead, states in the Midwest and the Plains are bracing for a powerful winter storm headed their way. We are receiving reports that the Hallettsville man who was missing, the one seen right behind me, has just been found safely. There's going to be more updates on our website at crossroadstoday.com. Now, Hunter Biden has arrived at federal court in Los Angeles today for an initial appearance on federal tax charges where he pleaded not guilty. The president's son is accused of failing to pay taxes, failing to file a tax return, filing a fraudulent return, and evading assessment. In all, he faces 3 felony counts and 6 misdemeanor charges. Biden's attorney has argued the charges are nothing more than a political hit job. Now, former President Donald Trump spoke at his civil fraud trial in New York, but not in a formal closing argument. A judge gave him permission to speak within the bounds of what's allowed in a closing argument, but Trump had disregarded their orders and declared his innocence instead.
Former President Donald Trump ignored a judge's restrictions and denounced the civil fraud trial in New York as a witch hunt and a persecution by someone running for office.
This is a case that should have never been brought, and it was brought.
New York Attorney General Letitia James accused Trump, his eldest sons Eric and Don Jr., and the top Trump Organization executives of conducting a decade's worth of business based on numerous acts of fraud and misrepresentations, inflating Trump's net worth in order to get more favorable loan terms. The judge in the case has already ruled that Trump had submitted fraudulent valuations for his assets. The same judge will now decide what penalty, if any, the defendant should receive. The former president has denied all wrongdoing, and his attorney, Chris Kise, in a closing argument, said Trump's net worth was a product not of fraud, but of his business skill. He also argued the case was manufactured to pursue a political agenda by Letitia James. After his attorney finished the closing arguments, Trump, seated at the defense table, offered his own 5-minute summation, calling the case a witch hunt and saying his financial statements were perfect.
We've proven this case so conclusively. We've asked for directed verdict many times. They don't have any facts. They don't have any evidence against us.
Court officials say presiding judge Arthur Engoron received a bomb threat at his home this morning. Police on Long Island responded. No bomb was found. Trump has lashed out at the judge and the attorney general. The judge in October imposed a partial gag order after Trump disparaged his law clerk on social media. Trump could be barred from doing business in the New York real estate industry and face a $370 million fine. The judge expects to have a final decision by the end of the month or early next. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
The FAA is launching the investigation into Boeing's quality control after Friday's blowout on an Alaska Airlines flight. A door plug on the Boeing 737 MAX 9 flew off the plane at 16,000 feet, leaving a hole on the side of the plane. No one was seriously hurt in the incident. However, FAA investigators will look at whether Boeing's finished products are safe to operate. Since Friday, Alaska Airlines and United Airlines have found either loose hardware or bolts in the assembly of door plugs on their Boeing MAX 9 planes. The FDA says the average adult generally requires 2,000 calories per day, but a recent study suggests that some might be wasting many of those calories on snacks.
From chips to crackers and sweets, when an afternoon pick-me-up is needed, you may just grab what's easy.
The way we snack is just kind of these episodic little grazings throughout the day. And we never really think about how much they actually add up.
Chris Taylor with Ohio State University is senior study author of a new study that suggests many adults consume up to 25% of their daily calories from snacks.
Because we're looking at a fairly substantial amount of our calories. It's a considerable source of added sugar, saturated fat, sodium. That we're getting in the day that also don't come with a lot of nutrients.
So that your snacks don't derail your health goals, Taylor says it's important to plan for them just like you would a meal.
Having hummus on hand that I can then use as a quick snack instead of having to rely on some foods that may not contribute as much to my total nutrient needs.
Other healthy snacks include fruits and veggies, nuts and nut butters, as well as seeds. And Taylor says to beware of stealth calories in some beverages.
When we get a blenderized coffee drink or drinking a sugar sweetened beverage.
Another massive winter storm is heading across the United States. Today, the storm is shifting of the west, where Lake Tahoe is reeling from yesterday's deadly avalanche. Now, those snowy, windy conditions are headed to the plains and the Midwest. Warmer states will likely see severe thunderstorms and possible tornadoes. But I know Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis has more information on this winter blast. Mac, does this affect us in any way? I know it does.
Well, yes,
I know
it
you have
does.
the answers too.
Yes, it does. In fact, those storms are going to glance through our area and produce some problems for us as well. First, I'm calling it the big wind, which is tomorrow, and then the big chill, which starts on Monday. Now, right now, we're at 71 degrees, but that's going to be a distant memory as soon as tomorrow. We're looking at this morning, we got down to 48 degrees. We'll be talking about what to expect with the weekend, with the winds, and with the possibility of getting some ice down in our area. All that coming up in just a moment. Good afternoon, everybody. First, we start off with this big sign. I don't know how I can make it bigger, okay? Want to get your attention because on Monday, we're calling it an alert day. What does that mean? That is when everybody's going to be affected by the weather, and there are going to be some problems. Here we go on Monday morning. Well, it's coming in after midnight Sunday, but by Monday, you'll really feel the cold air, and it's all of the crossroads, everybody, all the way I-10, all the way down to Refugio. And we're looking for a hard freeze and possible ice. Now, it's not going to be anything like 2021 because it's going to be a quick and dry atmosphere. We're not going to get the snow. Don't worry about that. But we could have some ice as temperatures start dipping below freezing pretty much every night. So now, here are the lows for the next few days. 40 tomorrow morning, and then 45 on Saturday morning, 40 on Sunday morning. But Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday will be down into the low 20s. So precipitation, water, anything at that temperature obviously is going to freeze. So you got to get ready to take care of any pipes, water pipes that are outside, that are outdoors. Tender vegetation, you got to cover it the best you can or move it. We've got, you should provide some shelter for your pets or your large animals, you know, your cattle and all that. And make sure you can do your best to get the water out of your sprinkler lines, because if it's in there, it will freeze as well. Now, what's happening? Well, this is Future Track. You can see we have very little problems right about now and fairly mild weather. But as we look up to the northwest, there is the first storm, which will come in tonight after midnight. By tomorrow morning, this will be over our area, but this is not a rainmaker. This is going to be a wind shift line. See right there? And when that line comes through, it's going to produce some showers, but this is Friday morning, and then it blows through and it gives us a good Saturday. Saturday will be okay. It'll be very windy and dry, and we are concerned for all of that, but then the main event. The reason this is going to be different from all the past storms is because the past storms came from the west and ran across to the east. This is going to tap into some Arctic air, which will get pulled down behind that area of low pressure. So let me show you how it's going to go with Future Tracker here. We start on your Thursday. By tomorrow morning, the first front comes through with the dry air and the gusty winds. And then as we get to Friday and Saturday, we start seeing the front organized to the north. They're going to have all kinds of problems. But as we get to Sunday, it gets very close to North Texas, and that's when the problems begin. We are likely to see some snow in North Texas. We're likely to see some ice somewhere between maybe Austin, LaGrange, all the way to Lufkin. The ice will get maybe down to the I-10 corridor during the afternoon on, or rather early morning on Monday, and then it pulls away Monday afternoon and evening, and then it's gone. Then we get into the really cold stuff, and that's when we all have to just get bundle up. That's all we can do is just bundle up and get ready for it. We're looking at tomorrow's high of 60 tomorrow in Port Lavaca, and in Cuero, they're getting up to 58. And here we go with a 7-day. Windy tomorrow, then okay Saturday. Sunday night starts getting cold. Sunday afternoon it starts getting cold. Monday, downright frigid. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday will be down into the 20s at night and only up into the 40s in the afternoon. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that. We'll get you all the weather bulletins you need on that. And so put that on your phone. Right, Karina? Back to you.
That's right, Mac. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we'll take a look at your stocks. Plus, Democratic lawmakers want Navy Federal under investigation for violating anti-discrimination laws. Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow up 15 points, the S&P 500 down 3 points, and the Nasdaq up 1 point. Oil up 65 cents, closing at $72.02 a barrel. Democratic senators want federal regulators to take a close look at the Navy Federal Credit Union. In a letter written by 10 lawmakers, they believe the bank might not be complying with federal anti-discrimination laws. They cited a CNN report on racial disparities in mortgage rate approvals. It was discovered that more than 75% of loans for white people were approved in 2022. A comparable loan was approved for less than 50% for black people. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is reviewing the letter. Google laid off hundreds of employees Wednesday night in an effort to lower costs and focus on artificial intelligence. The tech giant called these layoffs part of reorganizations made in the normal course of business. The Alphabet Workers Union, a group representing more than 1,400 workers at Google's parent company Alphabet, described the job cuts as needless. Earlier Wednesday, Amazon cut hundreds of jobs across its Prime Video, MGM Studio, and even Twitch. Homelessness in Texas is on the rise amid high housing costs. You can read the full story by the Texas Tribune on our CrossroadsToday.com website. And stay with us. We're going to take one last look at your forecast with Mac. Plus, a woman in Australia wins the title of owning the world's ugliest lawn. Plus, here's a look at world news tonight, right after 25 News Now at 5. A lawn in Australia was crowned the ugliest in the world, and it's all for a good cause. This is Caitlin Murray's lawn. Her yard is what organizers in Sweden wanted when they launched the contest for the world's ugliest lawn. Their goal was to influence people to use less water, draw attention to water scarcity resulting from climate change, and change the norm for green lawns. Murray won a certificate and a recycled t-shirt proclaiming her as the proud owner of the world's ugliest lawn. That is a very nice way to kind of, shine light on a
but
serious
I
topic.
could have competed in that contest, for ugly lawns. But the thing is, everyone loves a nice green lawn, right? And
They're hard to maintain.
but they're hard to maintain. They take up a lot of water, and some people's homes are just expansive. And so, you know yourself with your water bill that you're watering the lawn. So you cut back on the size of the lawn. We tried to push a thing several years ago where we wanted everyone to reduce the amount of grass by 25%. Just
Okay.
a little bit, you know, make the planters bigger, put rock gardens and all that, because the more square footage, the more water you're using. So, and
So let's
water-
normalize ugly lawns.
Yeah.
Let's normalize
Well,
ugly
all right.
lawns.
Maybe
Some
maybe
dry,
not ugly
patchy
lawns,
lawns.
but homely lawns. You
Okay,
know?
okay. I still like ugly lawns.
Well, you're going to be ready for next week because she loves the cold weather. And for those of you that do like the cold weather, well, we've got it for you. Tomorrow's high only 60 as the wind starts rolling in. We're going to feel a very strong wind blowing on Friday. Then Saturday's not bad. Sunday's okay, but the cold weather starts coming in Saturday afternoon and evening. And then Monday, it's like, oh my gosh, it's cold, wet, rainy, windy, ugly day. I'm going to put out another advisory. It's called a severe caldo alert. You got to get ready to get your caldo early because they'll run out. But it's going to be a good day for caldo, if you know what I mean. And then we'll down looking at temperatures in the 20s.
All right, thank you, Mac. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6.